Good morning, ladies and gentlemen who are here. On the dais, Secretary INB, Mr. Ajay Mittal, Director General, Press Information Bureau, Frank Narona, and of course, Ms. Anki Das, who's heading Central Asia, India, South Asia, pretty much half the population of the world, I guess. And of course, Ms. Katie, who's come all the way from US, you're welcome to India. I believe you've been here many times. I do hope that India is growing on you as Facebook is growing on India. I especially welcome all the delegates who've come today from various ministries, friends from the media who are here, and of course, officials of the Ministry of Information Broadcasting. If this was Facebook, I would have liked your presence. So well, verbally, I liked your presence here. How many of you are on Facebook personally? Brilliant, brilliant. So we are already working with people who have achieved a national level. Now you just have to win the Olympics. So you already know how important Facebook is. You've been using it, so Facebook is not alien to you. And this workshop, I believe, is going to be very interesting in terms of learning new tools for reaching out to the people. Now, if this was 3,000 years ago, we would have in this workshop been sharing how to send new smoke signals, or given you new drums to beat so that your messages could reach more people, or perhaps given you pigeons so that you could reach out to people. And DG, Director General Press Information, would have the maximum pigeons to send. But these are better times, and therefore these are interesting times. Because like for military missions, the acronym they have for key to success is C4I, which is command, control, communication, computers, and intelligence, or information. The last three, communication, computers, and intelligence, or information, is there in your pockets today. That's how interesting the time is now. And especially information and communication is so vital, not just for your marriage, but for the organization as well. To reach out to the people, to share information with them, to empower them, is so essential for any organization to succeed, and especially so for a democracy, because the voter needs to be empowered. The voter needs to know what this government is doing. The voter needs to be able to reach out to the government with his issues, problems, suggestions, and needs a response back from the government. We've tried to, in the Ministry of Information Broadcasting, we've tried to reach out to the public in as many ways as possible, and especially so in terms of budget speech. We tried to put it in graphics so that people understand what the budget is. I mean, it can be extremely technical. The budget speech is technical at times. But we try and simplify it so that people can understand. We create graphic plates, and we put it on WhatsApp, we put it on Facebook, we put it on Twitter, so that people understand in a better way. Similarly, GST is something that we could do now. People know GST is good. It's been unanimously supported by all parties. But how is GST going to help us individually? How is it going to help a trader? How is it going to help a film industry person, an auto rickshaw driver, or a government official? How is it going to help them? GST is going to affect everyone. So idea is to simplify communication and to be able to reach out to the masses. And we need people who can communicate with them, which is you all, in the ministries. One of the most brilliant things about social media is that it's a two-way communication. Now, I pride myself in the fact that we are in a government that is trying to establish a two-way communication in every aspect. Be it the two-year program, or be it the budget for 2016, or be it the 15th of August, the ministers have tried to go to various parts of the country to meet the people, to interact with them. Just your mere presence in the border areas to tie a Rakhi is an essential tool to communicate with the people. It may not be so much of as to tie a Rakhi, but the idea that the ministers, women ministers especially, will go down to every nook and corner of the country where there have never been any minister, is the very fact that this government wants to communicate with the people physically and also on the social media. The Prime Minister has been time and again saying that every minister, every department, every ministry needs to get onto the social media. Now the coach can only show the way. The athlete has to walk the path, right? So we all have to do what he's trying to establish. I mean, it's so ironical that the Prime Minister is actually elder than most of us. So the younger population needs to be more on social media, but he's the most savvy guy who's on social media. So it's all the more important that we get onto the social media and embrace it. It's pretty cost effective as well. I mean, I know as an INB minister, every time an advertisement comes, I have to take out, and my secretary, we all have to do the accounting of the amount of money that we have vis-a-vis the money we're going to spend on the advertisements. The advertisements on the print and on the general entertainment channel costs a huge amount of money. But on social media, it's so much cheap and cost effective and has a fabulous reach. You know, interestingly, just for your information, it's the government policies that how people will be able to use that government policy, how they can take advantage of that government policy. We are having to advertise it on the newspapers and on the channels. And if you were to use, I mean, these are all your departments. All these policies are from somewhere or the other from your department. If you were able to use the social media and time and again inform the citizens of how those policies can be most effectively used by them, or to get a response from the people as to how they feel it needs to be modified for their consumption or for their better usage, that's exactly what we need, and there's no cost to it. A lot of times people feel that there's this debate that goes on, it's really baseless on the Twitter or on the Facebook. Half of it is junk. There are a lot of people who talk like this, but mind you, at the end of it, this social media today is actually shaping the debate that's happening on the television. It's shaping the pages of the newspaper. It's shaping your mind when you sit on a dining table at the dinner time and do your discussions. It's literally shaping the world today. And therefore, if I can stretch myself to say, either you share or you die. So you might as well. You cannot hide information in today's world, so you have to share that information. The idea is to send out the right kind of content that people can then engage with that content. You need to empower them with the perfect knowledge. There are a lot of times on the social media, because, there is no cable television act on it, and therefore a lot of times there's incorrect information which is going out about various ministries or government departments. So that's the time that you could actually get onto the social media and correct that information. People are hungry for information. I mean, I have the privilege of coming from a rural background, right? Not only do I come from a village, but my constituency is also Jaipur rural. So I'm branded rural. And from that experience, I am telling you, that I asked one of the small places in my constituency, I asked a retailer, a mobile phone retailer, I said, how many phones do you sell in a day? Guess. 100 phones in a day. And I said, how many smartphones in a day? 60 smartphones in a day. Every time I go, like today I asked you, how many people on social media, on Facebook? Every time I go and I ask the youth, how many people on Facebook? 90% people are on Facebook in the villages, and perhaps 100% of them are on WhatsApp, because it works on 2G as well. It works on much lesser data. So that's the kind of number of people who are on social media, and they're hungry for information. There is space for information. And if that space is occupied by incorrect information, it is occupied by information. That person does not know that this is incorrect information. There is space, somebody needs to occupy it. If it's incorrect, well, like it or lump it. So the idea is, fill that space with the correct information so that the person is empowered and he can share that information with the other people. And on the dining table, he is more empowered to discuss with the knowledge that you have sitting in the offices in Delhi. You get it? You agree with it? So we, of course, need to change our attitudes in the government. And one of the reasons for this workshop is to change the mindset. We need to open up. Typically, governments have been the ones with closed, iron curtains all around. But today's time is changing. So we first need to change our mindset. And in changing our mindset, we also have to recalibrate our departments and ministries as well, as to how the information is going to be shared between the decision makers to the information disseminators. The decisions being taken at the minister's level, at the secretary's level, at the joint secretary level, or at any level, that decision needs to percolate down to the information disseminators, that is you all and me. That process needs to get faster. And we have to work on it, to recalibrate it. Now, of course, like I said right in the beginning, there's no better example for us than the Prime Minister himself. He's been time and again emphasizing on everyone, individuals and departments, to get on the Facebook, on the social media, to reach out to the people. But something that you can all be proud of is that very soon, when President Obama ends his tenure, our Prime Minister Modi is going to be the most liked politician or leader in the world. So that's going to be something to be very proud of. And that's something that you all could work to get your ministry's numbers up. I'm very certain that right now my ministry leads in the number of followers. Am I right? So it's an open competition. Come on. Take up the challenge. Which ministry is more popular? The more you interact with people, the more they will like it. So is it defense? Is it finance? Is it HRD? Whichever. It's an open challenge. We'll meet after 1 year. Right? We have about 85% of our ministers who are on Facebook, of course. Like Anki said, we need to reach out to more who are missing. We have 80% of the ministries that have verified account. And that's a brilliant, that's phenomenal, but we need to improve that as well. And it's a dynamic world that we live in. It's constantly changing. Ideas are shaping the world. Either we get shaped by it, or we shape the world. So wish you all the best. Thank you.